Hey everyone, Jeff here, also known as the Revit Kid. Welcome to another episode of BIM After Dark Live. I want to thank you guys for showing up tonight. I'm sure you're all videoed out from AU 2020 this year. I know I'm definitely feeling the fatigue, but we have a fun show tonight. It's going to be a little laid back, hopefully, we'll see. But it's also going to be unique. I've got Carl and Dana and Bill from the BIM Thoughts Podcast on, and they're going to be asking me questions. It is live, so I will also be checking out the chat, and if you guys have questions, and why not? Everyone ask questions. Let's see how it goes. But before we jump in and I introduce my great guests, I did want to mention a sponsor of this show, which I'm super proud of, and I'll run a quick reel and talk to you guys a little bit about this sponsor. All right, so if you didn't get that from the video with all the logos and the computer, the sponsor for the show is BIM Box. And so if you guys are not familiar, hey, if you guys, Bill's cheering in the background. I don't know if you hear him yet, but he's cheering in the background. So BIM Box, they make computers, laptops, and desktops. I've got one right there, and I've got a laptop right here. And they are designed and optimized specifically for BIM. You guessed it. Super awesome. I've been testing these things for over 9 months now. As you guys know from anything else I've reviewed here on the site and on the channel, I want to trust the company or the product before I share it with you. I don't take it for granted that you guys take information and trust me in my opinion. So I can tell you without doubt that these things are monsters. And this one back here, the desktop, I've tested it on countless extremely ridiculous Revit files that have always chugged, and it was clear that this thing was designed and optimized for it. And so the other thing I wanted to mention too is BIMbox did have a exhibit at AU 2020, so I want you guys to check out the exhibit hall, look for their logo, and Buck, who's the founder, did some great, I think he did three videos where he sort of did a live stream and walked through the product, especially the Striker 2 desktop back there. So thank you, BIMbox, for sponsoring this. If you guys are interested, you can email them at sales@bimboxusa.com, or you can go to bimbox.bimafterdark.com. Let them know that Jeff sent you, and they'll hook you up, I promise. And so without further ado, I want to introduce all of my guests. Hey, so welcome. We've got Carl.
Hello.
And Dana. And Bill.
Hey.
Hopefully, those of you out there. Oh, by the way, I want to remind everyone again that this is a live stream, so feel free to chat. I'm going to be checking it the whole time, and we're going to be interacting with you as well. But I'm hoping that you guys have heard of the BIM Thoughts podcast. I was on Bill. When on earth did we do that interview? How long ago was it?
That was a long time ago.
It had to be like maybe even longer, 3-4 years ago,
that's
right?
That's when you were almost famous.
almost famous. Almost BIM famous, right?
Almost BIMfamous.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think I was in my condo, which means it had to be like, because I remember being in the basement of my condo where my computer was.
Oh, wow.
So it must have been almost 4 years ago. We should have looked that up before we got on here. But welcome to my show. And I guess
Yes.
and welcome everyone here to your show. So what we're doing tonight is actually we're recording a podcast for BIM Thoughts while also live streaming to you guys. So Bill, I don't know if you want to jump in. I guess this is kind of your show because you're going to be asking me questions.
Well, it's our show.
Our show, yes. So,
it's our show. Dana, Carl, your show, everybody's show. And awesome. Jacob, here's to you.
Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes, we do read the tweets from time to time.
Awesome.
But yeah, let's talk about anything AU or anything we want to talk about. You can ask questions too, Jeff, if you want as well.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be great. So I think, I was, we were talking ahead of time about sort of how we should structure this and what topics we could hit on. In general, I'll tell you from the last 30, this is episode, I don't even know anymore, 33, 34 of BIM After Dark Live, and there's always a focus, but I could tell you that the chat always kind of drives the focus. Like someone will come on, like, yeah, I want to talk about railings, or like John P came on and wanted to talk about a specific part of Dynamo, and then people just cling on to one topic. So I'm assuming that's going to happen here, but let's just
go
with it and see, right?
I'd like to answer some questions too from from the chatters. Is that what they're
we
called?
Got a whole bunch of folks. So let us know in the chat room where you're tuning in from, and it looks like we got a bunch of people here. At Brody, we got some returning guests, or returning visitors. Thanks, guys. Jacob Small is here. I believe he was the one who tweeted many drinks, right?
Yes. That's right. Yep.
We've all got our drinks.
Hey, Jacob, he's there.
It's Japanese. Funny. So I mean, this show, the live show, it started as a happy hour, right? And I, because of guests and sort of schedule, I've done some at 12:30 and I've done some at 7:30 in different times.
Mm-hmm.
And the 12:30 ones always feel a little different because, I don't really bring a cocktail in with me because it's in the middle of my workday. So there's always a little bit of a difference. So I kind of like the night ones.
Yeah, the night ones are fun. So what made you do this? What made you start?
How do you define yourself?
What? Oh, that's right. Good job, Dana.
Whoa.
Bill's slacking.
I am a slacker. That's the first time that's happened.
How do I define myself?
Define yourself.
Question. I mean, I define myself as an architect to begin with. I spent most of my life getting to that point where I can call myself an architect. So no matter what else I do, I'll always start there. I guess it's kind of like, if someone gets their doctorate, they always want to be called doctor, maybe because the amount of effort that went into it. So I would say, I'm an architect, but I'm also a technology enthusiast, and I'm also an educator. And that's, those are kind of the three things, especially the architecture and education. Those are kind of the three things that I get the most passion out of, for sure.
Are you still practicing architecture?
Yes, I am actually.
Yes.
So
are you doing the
licensed architect
side? Yeah, as in the drawing, drafting,
stamping.
Yeah. So I am a registered licensed architect in the state of Connecticut, and I do keep up my NCARB record. So in theory, other than California and in Florida, I could be a licensed architect anywhere in the continental United States. But I only really practice in Connecticut. I've done one project that I stamped myself in Massachusetts, but or I shouldn't say, didn't need a stamp that I worked on. And so licensed registered architect. And so if anyone's followed the stream, they may know that my full-time job, so my salaried position is actually at Turner Construction. And part of the reason for that in general, making that move was I got my license. And so I didn't necessarily need the architectural environment for the hours anymore. The firm was nosediving anyways, and so I needed to move really out of that firm, and I also wanted to experience the construction management side while also being able to practice on my own without competing. And so I think everyone out there who's an architect or in the fields knows that moonlighting is just a thing, but and I did it myself, but it's nice to know that there is, doing a 200 square foot addition on a home here in Connecticut is not, I'm not doing that. I'm not legally, moonlighting type of thing. So yeah, I do. As far as practicing the architecture myself, mostly, very small residential, and it's kind of just to keep my creative juices going. The nice part about it is because it's really just a moonlighting gig, so to speak. I can be choosy about my work, which is not always the case with most architects. And so I kind of enjoy that piece of it. I don't have to say yes to every single job that comes across my door. And I can also say no if I realize that the job is probably not a good fit.
How would you say that you found yourself in the position you're in both technology and in construction?
So, I guess it goes way back machine to I've actually been on the journey of becoming an architect since I was probably around freshman in high school. I have a really unique path where I went to a vocational technical school, and I chose, it actually had architecture. I chose architecture then, and I basically stayed with it the entire time. And then because I learned architecture in high school, I was also a boy in high school who did high school things, which was, at the time, it was playing my guitar, skateboarding, and video games. Right? That's a 15-year-old kid in high school, and so the video game part was the one that I think took me to the technology side, because as a gamer, if you're a computer gamer, you kind of end up becoming a computer geek just by association. You start understanding hardware and all that stuff. And so the two kind of melded together. And I've always been super interested in that side of it, making maps, making 3D worlds, and then, discovering that I can do that professionally was like game changer.
So if
doing go ahead, Carl.
Sorry.
I was going to say, love to hear from Carl.
if doing the architecture is your moonlighting gig, what's BIM After Dark, the Revit Kid, the Dynamo courses? Is that your sunlighting job?
Oh yes. And that doesn't include my my pretty much 6 years in a row now adjunct professor at my alma mater. one night a week. I don't know. I've always been someone who needs to be doing 1,000 things. I don't know. It's just the way I am. Sometimes I sit there and wish, like, I wonder what it'd be like to actually focus on one thing for like a year straight. I just can't do it. I don't know. So I don't know what I would consider all of those things. I mean, technically, right, my salaried 40-hour-week job is Turner Construction, so everything else can be considered sort of a hustle, I guess. But the reality is, this kind of stuff does obviously take time. But the great thing about it is they all intermingle so much. Stuff I do at Turner influences the stuff I do here, which then influences the stuff I do there, and then also the stuff I teach to students. So I've made it so everything's kind of synergetic between each other, and I think that works out really well. I think the reality is I'll say the 4 jobs I have, so to speak, which are that Turner Construction, Revit Kid / the BIM After Dark, teaching at the University of Hartford, and then Studio Bad, which is my small architecture firm. I'd say they all kind of complement each other. There's nothing I do in either one that doesn't influence or help the other one. So.
Well, I think it's all about.
So do you have a hobby? Yeah. Speaking of passion, like, is that like to take up all of your time, or is there actually time for, I don't know, skateboarding still? Anything?
Skateboarding, no. So I actually found one of my last skateboards, because obviously you go through a few of them, but one of my last ones that was still not broken in half or anything in my parents' basement this year. And I tried, I rode it down the driveway, and I was still able to ride it, but I would probably hurt myself if I tried anything beyond just sort of riding on it. So no, I don't skateboard anymore. I also have a 2-year-old son, and so the hobby side of it is a little harder as well. But I'd say outside of all of that, if I was to spend my time doing anything, it's playing my guitar, which you don't see anymore in the background, but there's 2 guitars over there, and fishing. I love fishing. And the nice thing about fishing is I can, maybe it's because it's the polar opposite of all that stuff. I usually don't bring, I bring my phone, but I'm not bringing a laptop with me. I'm not on Zoom calls. I'm not, there's technology to it, sure. But it's a nice, easy way to disconnect from everything, which is key, right? Sometimes you need to disconnect.
So you drown worms, or do you do the flies?
Oh, so it's funny you should ask. So if we have, it's actually interesting. Whenever I mention it to the Revit Kid audience, it's amazing. The amount of fishing enthusiasts there are out there, and I think COVID has created this surge of interest in it too. I don't know, anyone out there who is a fisherman may realize that supply chains have been devastated because of the interest this year, which is a good thing, I guess. People coming into it, but companies that make these things I don't think are ready for the influx. But I actually started my so I grew up in Fairfield, Connecticut, which is a coastal sound, but it's the Long Island Sound, so it's, some people call it the ocean, I call it the Sound. But and that's mostly stripers and bluefish. So growing up with my father fishing for that, then I moved an hour and a half inland, far away from the shore. And I actually lived for 3 years on the Farmington River, which for fly fishing enthusiasts may know that that's an extremely famous trout river in the Northeast. And so I actually used to come home from work, throw on my waders in my garage, and walk into the river, which is phenomenal. And then I moved down here. I live in Newtown, Connecticut now, and I'm kind of like halfway between the two. So I picked up largemouth bass fishing. And I still go out on my dad's boat doing some striper fishing here. So definitely far away from the rivers.
I recently went into the Potomac River with a crossbow.
Really?
I went fishing.
You did
like
bow
last
fishing,
month.
huh?
I thought you were going to say you went catfishing with your hand.
No, so I mentioned
noodling.
No, I'm not
Noodling,
that
right.
good. I'm not that good. I do watch the Alone shows too, where they're like trapping them with their bodies and like doing all these. No, I don't think that I could go that far. I'll stick with the bow.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned fly fishing there, Jeff. I just moved into a new house and I'm about 500 meters, yes, meters up here in Canada, from the Bow River,
500 yards,
which is another very famous fly fishing river.
Ooh, yeah.
If you've ever seen the movie A River Runs Through It, that's where it was filmed.
Oh.
So I can literally walk up my door and hit up some nice fly fishing as well.
You know what's funny? I've read the book and I still haven't seen the Brad Pitt movie yet of A River Runs Through It, but I have read the book. Yeah, no, it's great. Fly fishing was wonderful. It's just you have to, making it easy to get there and easy to get on the water was a lot. It's not a lot simpler. I mean, now it's just I'll do like kayaks and lakes and stuff like that. So I guess the simplicity is there, but we don't have down this part of Connecticut. I have to drive an hour and a half or so to get to the good fly fishing, so to speak.
So we have
funny you said that
in the Potomac.
What?
Snakehead.
Snakehead.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, Potomac. So you're in DC area or
I'm in
Virginia?
DC area. Yes, and I'm moving. I told you guys this right before we started the podcast, but I'm moving actually onto like a creek off of the Potomac. So my backyard will be the river.
Nice.
Literally.
Wow.
Like I actually have a dock and everything. So I'll be
nice.
able to go out with my bow. I asked Dad for a bow for Christmas. I don't know whether he's scared or excited.
That's awesome. That is so neat. I'm just reading some of the chat. Jim Balding's here. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Jim's already making fun of Carl. Sorry, Carl.
Yes, he is. He says I don't need my mask.
Nice. Awesome. What else we got? Brody Scott is here. He's returning. Hey, Brody. Awesome. I'm just reading through some of the comments, see if we have any enthralling questions.
Would be great. Any questions would be great.
Designs by CAD Pro asked me if I ever write songs to play on the guitar. Yeah. I haven't can't say I've written a song in a long time. I'd say my youth. I was writing a lot of songs in my youth. Now I'm more learning songs. I actually I recently, so I've been playing guitar since second or third grade. So I've been playing guitar for a very long time, and for pretty much most of that time, except for maybe the last 2 or 3 years, I was just playing blues and pentatonic, so very much rock music. And so anyone who's a musician out there knows that that's very specific. And I learned a couple jazzy songs here and there, but I never really got into the theory of it and all of the jazz stuff. And so the last 2 or 3 years I've been learning, it's like relearning the instrument. I'm learning jazz music and theory and all this stuff, and it's pretty cool. It's literally like relearning the guitar. So I'm not writing any songs, but I'm learning jazz standards and all these brand new songs, so I don't know if that counts. But
so I had a ukulele for a little while. I could never pick it up
neat.
and figure it out. So I guess every song I played, I wrote. None of them were any good.
So, right.
But you were talking about how hard it is to get stuff. I have a hard time getting like paint and stuff like that for my little hobby behind me. But yeah, it's everywhere. So don't think it's just a fly fishing stuff.
No, it's true. I mean, wood framing for the residential stuff that I work on. It's especially pressure treated. They're coming back a little bit in supply, but they were months of delay for like 2x8s for decks and stuff. They were BIM beards. People are liking our beards, Carl.
I'm gonna share that with my wife. She is not a fan.
Oh.
How do you stay warm up there in Canada? You got to, right? And I guess you're pretty north too, Jeff. I mean,
it's cold today, but not nearly as cold as where Carl is.
No.
Today 71 here. Usually it's cold around AU time at in Vegas. Today it's nice. It's 71. So we don't have AU in Vegas, and the weather is nice. So you could actually go out and drink at the outside bars or eat at the outside restaurants. But no, we can't because things.
Oh, you're in Vegas? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I live in Las Vegas. That's why AU isn't as much fun for me.
What's the strip look like right now? Is it just empty or no?
I don't know. I haven't been down the strip since March. Yeah.
Crazy.
No, it is crazy. I think the best AU I had was the one in Florida because I got to get out of town.
That's true. That's true.
That's true. So what other questions do we have up there? Baby Shark. Oh, do you play Baby Shark for your little?
Oh my God, Baby Shark. Oh man, no,
please don't sing it. Stuck
no,
in your head
I will never
after.
sing it. But no, he goes through. He's going through phases of what songs he wants to hear over and over again. Right now, it's a song called Pete the. It's a Pete the Cat is the book, but it's a song called White Shoes. And so anyone who knows it knows that it's also extremely addictive, like Baby Shark is. And so he goes through phases. He'll do like a couple weeks of like Elmo's song, and then a couple weeks of this Pete the Cat, and then a couple weeks of like Hi Ho. He loves Hi Ho from Snow White. The only thing so he's talking. He's 2 now, so he talks quite a bit, but he can't say Alexa perfectly. And so thank God, because if he did, we would be screwed. Because all day long he's trying to get her to sing and sing and sing the songs over and over again. But luckily he can't get it. So once he learns how to say her name correctly, I think we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, you're going to get all sorts of stuff delivered.
Yeah, maybe Google should have made it more difficult. Or Amazon. They should have made it more difficult.
I don't know if you can change. Can you change the name on
You
Alexa?
can, but he'll learn that too.
Like, can you imagine if your name were Alexa, or if your wife's name were Alexa? I mean, that would be dreadful. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Jacob
go to people's houses and they have to change it.
Jacob just asked us all a question. What has everyone's favorite AU session been so far?
Ooh.
I'll go first. I love Carl so far.
Really?
That I actually learned about. I sadly haven't spent a lot of time in 2.6 because, like the rest of the world, I'm sure I've spent a lot of time in BIM 360 and migration, doing other things. But wow, there's a lot of really cool things that he talked about, and a lot of really cool tips and just awesome stuff. So definitely check out.
I didn't see the class. So what was the class? What was it called?
It had Magic and Dynamo in it, and you're automatically sold. I mean, Jacob knows this all too well, right? I mean, his course was called something about baby. Hogwarts. So yeah, Harry Potter and me, we're good.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, then I'll have to check that one out for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess I'll
what were you saying, Jeff? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I guess I'll go. So I've been catching up as many as I can on demand. I've only caught I think one live, but I did enjoy Marcelo's monstrosity of a class where he did the
actually
rundown.
Presented that in DC first. Did he mention that?
No, I don't remember if he mentioned that.
I invited him out to a Revit DC user group, and I got the Dynamo DC shirt on today, representing DC. But we took him out, and he basically created that course for us for our user group.
Nice.
You got to leave it to Marcelo to give you everything when you invite him to your town.
No, I was interested to see how he was going to approach it, and he did. So that was entertaining for sure.
He is definitely one to do that, to entertain.
Carol let us know that you can change Alexa's name. Thanks, Carol.
Yeah. Yay, Carol.
Carl, what was your favorite class?
Again, the upside and the downside to all the on-demand classes, I've got a bunch of bookmarked, but because I can watch them later, I've been bookmarked to watch later.
Well, being a presenter makes it difficult too, right? I feel like you have a lot going on your plate already. With how long before the actual AU did you have to have it finished recording?
A month.
A month. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you had to be ready.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's very similar to regular when you have to upload stuff. It's just you do the actual presentation a little bit earlier, but it was good. A cat, as you saw, made an appearance in mine, so that was always nice, stepping on the clicker. But for me, so far, the best class that I got onto was Purvi Irwin did a roundtable on diversity in the industry, and there was a ton of just great things that came out of that. And it was actually one of the live classes because it was one of the panels. So the recording, I don't know how long after it comes out, but there was a lot of really good information there on how we're sort of slowly changing the industry to get a little more diverse, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's awesome. How about you, Bill?
Bill, what about you? Have you?
I have been slacker here. but I will get to watch some of the recordings. I'm interested in landscape into civil and civil back to landscape and then into Revit. Because at OPA where I work now, we're a integrated firm, so we have all of the disciplines in house, and that's been a challenge for us, is getting landscape and civil and architecture and structural to all link together seamlessly. So as the design progresses, we can move that back and forth. I mean, we can move the stuff forward, but it's hard to move it back, or
Yeah. What are your landscape team using? Are they using?
They're using AutoCAD architecture right now, and Civil's using Civil 3D, of course.
Yeah, landscape is a challenge. It's always a challenge, right?
It is a challenge.
Yeah, ideally you'd want them to just use Revit, but you know why they don't.
Right.
That's just a part of Revit that's just so challenging, and I can imagine why it may not work for that. But at the same time, how great would it be if they did, right?
I know. I've seen some classes in previous AUs and builds and RTCs on using Revit for landscape, and it's just there's too many workarounds.
Yeah, there is. But at the same time, I guess it depends, right? It depends on where the outcome is. I end up, a lot of the modeling that we end up doing at Turner ends up being site stuff, because that's
right.
The stuff that always ends up not being modeled, right? And so, if we have the job, usually we're working with the design teams and we all have models from the design teams. But usually we're filling in the gaps is site. And so we've made a lot of progress on workarounds, right? Railings and all that good stuff. But and so visually they all look correct, but I think documenting it would probably be a nightmare, if not impossible, right? And that's what it comes down to. You can, if you
and the way we document,
right? But then making a landscape drawing out of it is a whole nother ball game, right?
Right. And the way we document landscape is different than normal. So it's a challenge, but that's a challenge we need to figure out and get solved. And that's what's cool about being in technology these days.
It's true.
I'm Googling currently, as I typically do, and it looks like Site Designer still exists. You guys remember Site Designer? I ever play with Site Designer? I had the most hope for Site Designer. What happened to that? Did they give up? It just seems like it still exists.
Yeah,
I think it was a Band-Aid that wouldn't hold the blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder if it was a bid spec fulfillment to get some big business. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the model checker that they bought from Rand or where Carl used to be.
Yeah.
They bought that and they just moved it forward. They never made it better.
Nothing changed.
Speaking of favorite AU classes, one of my favorite conference classes in general has been Lauren Schmidt's on Land Arch BIM. Do you guys see that one? She has a Dynamo package.
Yep.
And she was creating some amazing things. I know Jacob knows what I'm talking about. I brag about her in our meetings all the time because I'm like, we need to be able to do that. Can we do that with Civil 3D and Dynamo? Can we do that? So no, I that's so fascinating to me. So I guess unless you're Lauren Schmidt, then
right, or you just hire Lauren Schmidt.
Like Parallax team.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's another session for you there, Jeff. Just we teed it right up for you.
I think so, huh? Yeah, no, I gotta start filling for end of December and January. So anyone's got ideas, email me. Let's go. I love doing the show myself, but I also love having guests on. So I'm always open for ideas. Who's Brody? Brody's. Was I supposed to send you a BIM After Dark shirt, Brody? I'm sorry if I didn't.
Oh.
He said I said it got lost.
It's in the mail.
Showed up. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, anyone who's interested, this shirt and the Lock Noob shirt, you can actually get them yourselves on shop.
Oh, okay.
Shop.bimafterdark.com. I I used to send shirts to people, but the problem is when you start going international. No offense, Carl, but it's like sending a T-shirt. You think it'd be an easy task, but like no, it's not. Like it's there's so much involved with sending a T-shirt to like Denmark. So I just couldn't do it anymore. So now I set up the So it's I don't even think I marked it up. I think it's
what about
just
a
like,
sticker? Can I get a sticker? Like
I've got stickers.
Like
Maybe.
mail.
I mean, but you're also in continental United States, so it's easier to ship.
Yeah, I need another sticker.
Oh, you need another sticker? I've got some of those.
Yeah,
good ones
stickers.
on there.
I got a new laptop. It doesn't have any stickers yet. I think I do have your sticker on there. See?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. Apparently, according to Jacob, Site Designer is no longer for Revit 2021, so it's officially been kibosh.
See, you called it.
Site Designer.
You did call it. Yep.
Called
Let's
it.
have a drink.
Pouring
Yep.
up.
I don't know if anybody notices, but this is my little built mug.
Oh, nice.
Your little built mug.
Yeah.
Look at that. I'm doing the Built NA Toronto.
Nice. This is Australia 2018.
How did you guys get these like glass fancy mugs? I have like a plastic Dina Noche cup that like lights up, maybe that's in like storage somewhere right now. But
Well, the next time Built is around, I'll take you up. We'll get invited to the party from and I should know this.
That's where you get them
from Avail.
Avail,
From Randall and Avail.
One
I
of
should
the
know that. Sorry,
manufacturers
Randall.
up there.
Yes, and at his after party is where he hands out the cool glasses. Then you gotta
now the secret's out of the bag.
Gotta wind my way.
Right. So you were talking about T-shirts. I like to invest in the YouTube channels, but I like to get stuff instead of just sending them the things. So I got a
there you go
mug from
the
guy who bought a ghost town.
That's neat. That's neat. I think I do have a few, because it's kind of like a cafe press, the site, but it's a little
right.
So I think I did do a couple like mouse pads and other things. I don't remember what I have available there, but
yeah,
it made it a lot easier. I have a closet full of T-shirts that I would give out at conferences, but that's obviously not going to happen. And then I had like 6 or 7 that were supposed to be shipped to Europe, and I emailed the people. I'm like, sorry. It's like, I got to fill out a customs form. It's going to come. Like, I don't know what is happening. The post office won't take it. I'm like, I don't know what package to put it in. So I just sorry, guys.
Sorry. Yeah. We, I usually take them to conferences, hand them out the stickers and the Lego minifigs.
Somebody mentioned the setup for AU. Yeah, I'm curious your guys' thoughts on sort of the setup for AU and how that functioned as a conference for you. I was personally.
Well, I know we're missing like classes tonight, right? Yeah, it's a lot. We're like missing classes right now. I woke up at 6:30 to take one at 7 because Raquel and Paula and they were having one on their Q&A and I wanted to be a part of that. And so yeah, it's just like kind of all over the map. You have to like really frame your time. I will say I kind of like the way they recorded it and then have the live Q&A. I do. That speaks to kind of what Bill Carr and I talk about quite a bit when we're talking about like almost having something before you take the class so that when you get to the lab, you're a little bit more prepared, or maybe you can have like a follow-up course or we've talked about that a lot, Bill, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah, like even having the handout or something ahead of time or whatever, right? I mean, just to be able to, because it does give you an idea of what the content's going to be.
What I try to do is I like to get the PowerPoint downloaded beforehand, and then I put that into OneNote, and then on my iPad I write on top of it. That's how I do my notes. And then I also take a photograph of the instructor standing up there on stage, because then that reminds me a little bit more of the class.
Do you ever refer back to the notes?
I wish they would have like...
Every now and then I refer back to the notes when people ask me about it, is when I refer back to the notes.
Or is it more about the actual act of taking the notes that helps cement it, right?
Over the years, I've stopped taking notes because I never look back at them. Like it's like up to a point where like I have like folders of notes that I've literally never looked back at. So I just stopped.
Yeah. The handouts.
But one thing that I wish they would have done is that they would have told people to actually watch them beforehand. Like I wish they would have sent out more blasts about like, hey, make sure that you watch them. Because I know for my first course, and I know I was talking to a few people today that were really confused. Like, is this just a Q&A? And I was like, yeah, I think just the panels, and maybe they might have a few labs that are live, but I wish they would have been maybe a little bit more vocal about that.
Yeah, there's a bit of that I think coming through. I mean, some of the classes were available in the first day, but the Q&A was also the first day. I think maybe they could have done a better job, and I'll know my Q&As tomorrow, but just judging from a few people I've talked to, Marcelo, his Q&A, there was 1,100 people in there, and it's very hard to answer questions from 1,100 people.
That is a challenge.
In an hour. I mean, they would never let that many people into an actual live class.
Right. Mm-hmm.
No way.
So it
1,100.
Yeah, 1,100 people. He had 900 questions in an hour.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But if anybody can handle it.
I did a session with 900 people one time at AU.
Yeah.
And that was interesting.
Was somebody moderating the questions for him?
No.
Yeah.
No, you had they had two microphones set up in the front on mic stands, and people would get in line and ask questions.
I think the format could work with a little more information ahead of time, but where I think the challenge for many probably is the same that I had, which is when you're there for those 3-4 days, you're picking your classes and that's what you're doing, right? From 8 to bedtime or whatever. Here it was very much like, well, I got this meeting. I'm gonna shove this one in between. So you didn't, I'm sure some people may have just cleared the day and dedicated it, but it was a lot harder to, I think, when you do this, which made it more sporadic and less structured. And then, so I was essentially just scrolling through, looking for interesting classes and then clicking them on when I had some time to check them out. And so, I think being in a space and having a time frame to do these things, I think that could help. But otherwise, I think the format could work.
I'm liking it so far, personally. And I'm like the skeptic. I feel like I'm always the one that's like, not really that big of a fan. But no, I'm actually really digging it.
Good. Where's our other chats going?
Yeah, I'm just reading through a little bit. Brody said I was being tricky and I changed the session time. I apologize for tonight. But, we have to schedule 4 people, so sometimes it changes by an hour. But I gave everyone heads up. You all got emails, or if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you knew. Normally this is at 7:30 when it's at night.
That's right.
Usually I'll do 12:30 or 7:30. Those are the 2 times. So, sorry guys. But if you just started
it's our fault.
Yeah. It gets recorded and you see it afterwards, just like AU.
Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel too, Bill's Workbench.
That's right, Bill's Workbench.
And the BIM Thoughts also has a channel.
All right, and I'll link anything that we talk about that I can remember or we refer back to in the description of the video and on the blog tomorrow. So don't worry about that, guys. I'm just reading through.
Yeah, I do like the extra days to watch the videos too. It's nice. It's also nice that I don't have to sneak into classes to get into a class.
Or sneak out, right?
Or I don't have a challenge leaving in the middle of a session. If the session isn't what I thought it was going to be, or who knows, all sorts of reasons. Maybe I'm in a bad mood. I don't have a problem getting up and leaving.
That's not different. Not that you're in a bad mood, but with AU, you've always had the ability to watch the classes after AU.
Right.
What I find we're not getting is the interaction during the class, sitting beside somebody, having that question. What we're doing right now at the Rock House is, why can't I remember their name? I apologize. Who always has the party at the Rock House on the Thursday night? DeRufus. Thank you very much. So it's those connections that we're missing.
Right.
There's only so much you can do at Zoom. Having a meeting or a meetup is great, but it's not the same as sitting there having an adult beverage.
Right. And delicious breakfast burritos at the
Yeah, I mean,
that's right. The 3 o'clock snacks.
Yeah, I've been on a few large Zoom calls like that, the meetups, and they're great. It's great to have it, but I think the difference is you can't really have a sidebar conversation, right? You go in a room and there's 100 people, and there may be like 50 conversations between two people happening, right? And that can't really happen on Zoom, right? So that to me is the big difference between those. Granted, you can see everyone on a screen, sure, but there's no way it's the same for sure.
And it's not only that, but it's when you're in person, you can talk about something that's happening right then and there. Or if you're on the exhibit hall, you can talk about, hey, did you go to that booth? Did you do this? Did you do that? Or you can walk by and go, what the heck was that guy smoking? Conversations is what I miss.
Well, I think that's a good thing, though, that we're having these discussions and we're saying, AU's been pretty exciting. We like the format, but to a T, everybody I talk to would still go back to a real conference. So I think that bodes well for future AUs, future builds, future AEC Next events that there's still a purpose for in place conferences. Right. It's not. This was never going to replace it. Especially for our expo friends, it's much different going and visiting people than not. And I know I'm certainly missing the traveling. Didn't go to Australia, didn't go to Europe, didn't go to Las Vegas. So there's certainly that aspect that I'm missing as well. That Zoom doesn't fill that void.
Right. So we're with you, Jim. We miss the social interaction of everybody.
For sure.
The great conversations.
What would they call it? Like a speaker hours or, whatever, when you actually go and you have to be in like the little room or whatever as a presenter, right? And they go and meet you. I guess that's kind of what the QA is. Yeah. But in this matter, you almost, because you're not in Vegas or at a conference or what have you, you get a chance maybe if it is something that you're passionate about, you could test it out a little bit and then go to the presentation or the Q&A portion of the presentation with a little bit more of a gusto type of question, right? Like actually a little bit more practical based off of what it is that you're trying to do, right?
Yeah. Well, and I guess it does give people, with it being free and being, worldwide, it does give people that maybe couldn't be in Vegas the ability to ask the questions, whereas the previous, you could watch the video, but you couldn't necessarily ask the questions. So maybe that part will become something that, a week after or 2 weeks after, there's some sort of way to interact with the speaker or speakers.
Well, you can always interact with the speakers afterwards. You connect them with LinkedIn. You get their email addresses. You email them. You ask them the questions.
Twitter.
And away
Some
you
people
go.
are shy, Bill. It's not the same.
It can't be shy in email. What's the worst that can happen? They delete the email. You never hear from them.
Yes, and that's
it's the same thing of being shy.
For some people, come on.
You got to reach out. You got to talk.
That's true, though. I think for any of you out there watching, in general, the AEC community, all of us that take part in AU and build on those events, we are very approachable. So don't fear reaching out to us in any platform you want.
We don't.
Yeah, I don't think I've never met a speaker who done a presentation who wasn't approachable. If they weren't approachable, they wouldn't be speaking at AU or any of the conferences.
Or you wouldn't have stayed in their presentation, right?
I do have a caveat to that, though, Bill. We are certainly all approachable.
Your classes?
My very first time speaking at AU, afterwards, after one of the social events, a gentleman approached me in the bathroom to shake my hand. That was not the proper time.
No, was it after you went, or was it before?
I think we could say midstream if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's yeah. You need to keep the aim on there, Carl.
Yes, thank you. Again, cheers.
You may need to be a little rude there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially during a global pandemic. It's like, yo, back up.
6 feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they call that
stream,
TMI.
You're definitely
maybe?
not 6 feet, right?
That's right. That's right.
I definitely don't think so. That's for sure.
Oh, that's funny.
I was just reading some comments.
Okay, comments.
Just talking about digital classroom.
Whoa!
Did you see Jim's comment?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. Bad Jim.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, technically, this channel is it's not for kids, so I guess it's okay. But
Okay.
everyone there is reading it, so it's all good. I mean, I had a question. It didn't come up on the chat, but I was curious. Since you guys are probably like me and scrolled through most of the classes and searched through them and filtered them. I wasn't a huge fan of the way it's filtering. I don't know. I feel like it's it's a little overwhelming. But is there any class or topic that you thought should have been on there that you were disappointed not to see? Maybe about a specific piece of software or topic.
Rhino.
Rhino.
There was a few there. There wasn't a lot. I was looking for a few more format classes. They've really sort of improved format over the last year, and bringing in the integrations with Dynamo and with doing your own JSON scripting. It's really got some new legs. So I was hoping for some more format content. Format Pro.
Yeah, because it's coming back.
It is.
I was surprised not to see much on like the new like flow toolkit. Is that what they're calling it? Or the root analysis stuff. Any of that at AU. I guess Autodesk has been presenting a lot about it, but you would think that you would at least seen something about it. I don't know.
Yeah, there wasn't a single class unless I filtered by the software, but and there was nothing for Assemble Systems, which I was a little surprised. We use that a lot at Turner, and I think Autodesk bought it almost 2 years ago now, and I was just a little surprised that they didn't have a single class on it. So it worries me a little bit because I have no idea what they're going to do with it. But
yeah,
I was going to say, were you still surprised after the keynote?
No, maybe not. So
yes,
I'm wondering what's going to happen with it, right? And so we'll see. But I mean, I thought maybe because it's still a product that they have customers for, at least for the foreseeable future, right? So I was a little bit surprised at that, but maybe not. You're right. Maybe not at the same time.
Well, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
There was
Bill.
100,000 people registered this year for AU.
Yeah, I saw they were saying that at the keynote there was 99,000 plus people that had signed up. So
and 60% are AEC. Is one of the things I've heard about too. Yeah. So I don't know why we don't get more downloads, and I don't know why we don't have more subscribers. If it's 60% of 100,000, that's 60,000 people.
That's a decent amount.
That's a lot of people.
Surprised to hear that it was 60% was AEC.
Yeah.
I wonder how that reflects in the analytics for each class and sort of people who actually went and viewed things. You know what I mean? And sort of were actually didn't just sign up and didn't go. I don't know. It's interesting.
It is interesting. That's why we see so many AEC classes.
Angelo said he only found one format class. Was that
one?
That sounds
lonely
right. One
format class.
Yeah, there was a year where they pushed the crap out of it, and then it's kind of been around, but not mentioned as often. So I have heard some of the new functions pretty sweet.
It's sad. I only use format for one thing, and that's converting STL files into AutoCAD format.
I mean, it's got a purpose for you then.
I guess so. It's part of the subscription. I use it.
There you go.
Jacob, I get it. It's too new to do it, too new to do a class on it. But there was some stuff in 2020 on it, though. I mean, I guess like some of the waypoints and stuff are too new, maybe. Can't play with it in Dynamo, really. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know whether you guys, I spoke at AU on occupancy. That's like how I learned Dynamo, and that's always what I say to tell people how I learned Dynamo is occupancy calculations, because it's horrible, right? And so anything life safety related, I'm super into. However, I will say that I saw on the roadmap that they are going to put shared parameters as key files or key parameters. How amazing would that be? That would help a lot with occupancy calculations in particular. Why I needed to learn Dynamo. Specifically that.
Where on the roadmap is that?
I don't know, somewhere. I know. Galen actually showed me a picture of the roadmap the other day, the roadmap. And I was like, what is this, a 20-year roadmap? Everything was on there. It was like they had wall sweeps. Yeah, it had like a wall sweeps that would show up in schedules. All kinds of wonderful things on that roadmap. I'll have to find it.
I guess it's good. Yeah, because they migrated it. For those of you who haven't seen and know what we're talking about, if you Google the Revit public roadmap, I think it's on Trello now, right? I believe is the new format.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Which is pretty neat. And let's see if I can find the link for everyone. But yeah, you're right. I think it feels like you read some of them and you're like, are they just throwing this on there to make us think that they've been listening? It'll just stay there forever, or like, because some of these things, like, this is an item that people have asked for, like when I started learning Revit.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I'll post a
time frame on some of these.
There we go. I just posted the link to it, but
link.
I mean, it looks cool. They've got they got photos and some videos and discussions about things, which is good. So I mean,
look at all that great stuff.
Yeah. I'm hoping it means good things. But yeah, you're right.
Can you move stuff into the next part that's going to get made?
I don't think you can. I think there's only a certain level of modifying that you can do.
Oh, that's no fun.
You're gonna move all the Harlan stuff.
You like Wikipedia, right? Moving all around.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I mean, I'm glad that it's there. It's just interesting to see how it does or does not unfold, right? Which things do and do not unfold. Right.
I thought it did native export of STL files. Am I wrong on that?
There's an add-in.
There's an add-in, so it's not native. It's add-in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There's an add-in, and I don't know if it.
Oh, that's right.
It used to be really hard to find. Now, depending on the version, it's I think you can find it in the App Store. I remember.
They moved stuff all around, didn't they?
Yeah, I think when it rolled to, I think when 2020 came out, there wasn't a 2020 version, but it was on GitHub, so I had to have someone execute it for me or something because I didn't know what the hell to do with it with the GitHub file, and then they created the add-in for it. But I think for now it's in the App Store. But it works. I mean, I've used it in the past for 3D printing, directly from Revit. So it's there. But yeah, it's not easy to find. I don't even know where it is now for 2021. Maybe it's in the App Store.
Yeah, I've got a couple of
knows. Yeah, let me know.
A couple little houses that I printed. One with the STL export, and one with the OBJ open source export.
Right.
Did you find any difference between the two? Not really.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I didn't actually have a 3D printer, so I sent it to Shapeways and had them printed. So
you don't know what they did.
I'm going to say no. I have no idea.
Yeah.
One was much better detailed than the other, but that could have just been the way they set it up. I believe it was the STL one.
Did you send them both the same time, or did you have one printed and then did they tell you which one was which?
Yes, two different houses. Two different houses.
Oh, okay. All right. That was lucky. Otherwise, you wouldn't have known which.
I was going to say, you're right. I wouldn't have known. But yeah, it was two separate houses.
That's funny. You got a 3D printer now?
I still don't. Although I'm thinking maybe it's getting close. Maybe Santa will send me a nice kit.
Maybe.
Something to put together.
I have an Ender 3. Really like it.
Nice.
Yeah, the Ender. Nice. Yeah, I don't have it here. I have it at the Turner office, and it's we have a Lulzbot, a Taz 6, I think it is.
A Taz 6. Yeah.
I bet that you can get them on major sales, Black Fridays and things.
Oh, you're right.
Oh yeah. All the Enders are cheap. They're $200 or something.
So 400.
I feel like
I may be
wrong. For the entirety of the month, it's Black Friday.
It is. Yeah, that's pretty much the case.
Everybody's pushing sales, right? So you guys, did you partake in any built classes or have you watched any after the fact?
Yeah, so I did a session back in, I don't even know when it was. Now I have to look, but maybe July, I don't know. I did a session on Power BI, I believe, and data visualization. And that went pretty well. There was they did it more of a webinar format, so it was you present and then Q&A. I don't remember if I paused for Q&A in the middle too, or if I just waited till the end. And then they also did, they have a feed afterwards that any questions that were kind of left over because we ran out of time, they posted in the feed and I could answer them just like by text if I wanted to, or like email the person. So it wasn't too bad. I think I watched one other one, but it was kind of the similar thing, right? It's kind of like, I guess if there's no urgency, right? If they're going to be there forever, it's kind of hard to jump, if you're busy, to jump into some of those things, right?
Well, that's where it's a little bit different with the DBI or built, is that they're only available for 7 days after.
Right.
Right.
And then, or at least the free versions. You can certainly get a paid membership, and that's another thing. It's a little bit different. Is DBI went the community route, if you will, so online forum, community.dbei.org.
Yep.
Go sign up. But yeah, so they have there, and the nice thing about that is when you get in there is they do have all of that old content. That's one of the things that was missing about the built events, is that you didn't have access to that back catalog. So now when you're part of that community, you can get access to that. So
yeah. I think that's the big difference between the virtual sessions or the virtual conferences and the physical conferences is when you go somewhere like AU, not for me, but for the build conferences, when I go like to Toronto or to Seattle, I'm there to experience build and to experience all of the stuff. Where when I'm home and I'm working, I don't have time to watch those videos and do that. I get all ready to do it. I have all good intentions to do it, but turn it on and don't go. But maybe I need to start following my own advice and just listen to it while I'm working and try to pick up stuff that way through osmosis. Is that?
Yeah, I will say I've been working a bit. I've been working a bit during the Q&A sessions. But like, it's like in a class of 900, can you really, is your question even going to be answered or asked even,
Yeah, you hope that someone else asks it and that gets caught too, right? Kind of thing.
Right. I will say a few of my questions, I shouldn't say that they haven't. I have heard a few of my questions being answered. So definitely partake in the Q&A sessions tomorrow if you haven't already.
And they're going to be recorded as well. So they'll be available on demand. One thing though is that they're a little bit hard to find because there's no link to the video like the presentation. There's just, it says join the Q&A. If you click on it after the fact and you put in your information, just like webinars, it will take you to the video after. So it's kind of like, how webinars, even though it's done, if you put in your information, it allows you to do it. I believe the Q&As are going to be like that until they're officially posted a few weeks after.
So you can look back on them.
Yeah.
Which is good,
I
'cause then you
found
can-
it hard. I found it hard to watch any of these while working because half the time I feel like I'm on a call like this, and, when I'm working.
Yeah.
And so,
but you can pause it, right? Yeah, you can pause it, or you can rewind it. You're like, oh my gosh, I think I just missed something awesome.
Yeah. But then it's like 8 hours later, I'm like, I got 20 minutes into this session and I don't remember what it was about.
Or you've rewound it. You rewound it 20 times.
You got like 30 other tabs open. You did 100 other things. Like, oh crap, I gotta go back.
Oh man, what were they saying again? Yeah, but what's good about the virtual is all the sessions are recorded.
It's true. Yeah.
Or in past years,
that always I wish there was with some of the built classes in the past, RTC built, whatever it was, is some of them I really wish there was recordings to go back on. You know what I mean? There's
especially some of those Bluebeam labs.
Exactly, those Bluebeam labs. I don't know what I'd do without those.
Yeah.
But no, there are some where like I go back to the the handout or something, and I'm like, because you remember it. Like, 60 years ago, you remember somebody saying something in a class, and then to be able to go back to that would be really, really cool. It just even if it's to go back to that one moment, because if you didn't take a good note, if the handout's not that great, or there's just not any information to go back to it. So I guess that makes you go, right? I mean, I
especially towards the end of the conference when you're all in zombie land and your brain is full. It's hard to remember all of that stuff.
Yeah, brain is full. That's the problem, Bill.
Brain is full.
Too much learning.
Yes, that's right. It's when you go in the restroom and empty your brain, right? But then somebody asks you a question and then it's gone.
Yep, there it goes.
There it goes.
Unless you go to the bathroom with them, like with Carl.
Right.
Just go to the bathroom, make sure they don't forget.
Just keep reminding.
I heard a story of Aaron Mahler being asked, how do you make a family while he was in the bathroom?
and I'm sure he answered it with a very long.
I'm sure he answered it correctly.
Without hesitation.
That's right.
gone past dad jokes, and now we're into Revit jokes.
Didn't skip a beat.
That's it.
The best dad jokes.
That's right. Any other great questions up there in the chats?
Not too much right now. Just conversations
Not too
going back
much?
and forth. I asked everyone
Okay.
before we wrap up if they had any last questions. So if you guys
All right.
if you guys have any desire to ask myself or my three
Oh, I
great
see.
guests any questions, yeah, feel free.
Mhm.
You guys have any final questions for me for some podcast content? Any extra podcast content?
Yeah. Any extra? Well, we asked the question on LinkedIn of who they thought would be a good person to interview. So we're working on that list. That was a great list. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. I was one of the people?
Absolutely. Sure.
Oh man. No, this is great.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to sit back and chat and not have an agenda and just BS every now and then.
Yeah, I hope everyone else enjoyed it for sure.
3D printer recommendations.
3D printer
And
recommendations.
Ender
there you
3
go.
version 2.
So Bill's got the Ender.
If you don't want to have to put it all together and tinker with it, then you get a Prusa and be done with it.
I mean, I
Ender 3
personally
is
did
one for
like.
tinkering.
I don't do a ton of. I mean, I guess it depends on most of the prints I was doing were specific scale. And we were doing buildings about that big for like big site plans. And the one thing I will say about the Taz, it has the Lulzbot Taz 6 is the one that we had. Is that thing is a workhorse. Like the amount of time that it's been on and running over the last like 3 or 4 years. I'm extremely surprised that we haven't even changed the nozzle, I don't think, on it. Maybe once.
Really?
Yeah. And so, I mean, knock on wood. I mean, I'm not going to be going to the office anytime soon to print, but it's the thing is just, it's an absolute beast. Very, very low maintenance. And so I don't remember how much it was brand new. I don't know how much it is now brand new, but if you're looking for something, just sit there and chug for, 24 hours a day for multiple weeks at a time. That thing was a monster. I don't know how your experience has been with the Ender or the other ones as far as
Ender's been really, really good. I had a Da Vinci before that. It died on me. I hit it with static and it just fried. That wasn't good. Bad day. But if you're going to get into 3D printing, I do recommend getting the filament printers, where you shove the plastic through it. I have both the filament and I have the resin printer as well. Resin printer, love it for the quality, but it is a mess to clean up.
Yeah. No, we have a resin one in our Boston office, and it's great. Yeah, like you said, the quality, the speed, that's all great. But you're right. Yeah, it's different. It's a different process. I'm actually posting in the chat right now. Oh, is that not linked? Oh, there it goes. A post that I did from 2017 about 3D printing directly from Revit. And so I have a link to the TazBot, and I think I had a link to the STL add-in, but that was 2017, so golly knows where it is now.
Yeah.
But I kind of
and that's
process.
That's now native in 2021, right? Is that you can export STLs?
Is it native in 2021?
I think it is. Or is it that? Yeah, I think it is.
I don't know. Or is it one of those? Or is it one of those add-ins you get from the desktop manager, little program? I don't.
The automatic add-in that you have to manually add in.
Yeah, what is with that? They should just install all that stuff by default. Because who gets Revit without a subscription? I don't think you can anymore.
I don't think you can anymore either, right? Maybe some holdovers, but I think even those, most of those got forced, right? I believe into the printing nerds. Carl just said this episode will be live on BIM Thoughts December 1st. Awesome. So December 1st, look for it. I'm sure I'll post it on Twitter and the blog. I'm actually opening 2021 in the background to see if this STL, because I'm really curious now.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Emmanuel talked about model railroading and models needing to print.
Everyone's seeing it there.
If you're doing HO size model railroading, I would recommend that you get a resin printer.
Because of the level of detail on the scale.
Right, the level of detail on the scale.
In 2021.1, it was added.
Oh, look out.
Wow. All right.
This just in.
STL exporter's there. That's awesome, because in 2 weeks I'm teaching my class how to that 3D printing from Revit, and I was putting together the links I was going to be putting together the links soon to show them how to install the STL exporter, but pretty sure they're all in 2021, so I don't have to worry about it.
There
Make sure
you
it's up to
go.
date, I should say, right? I got to tell them now.
Yes.
Got to teach them now how to
Good point
update
one.
Revit. But
Yeah. And don't be afraid of Cura as well for printing.
oh, Kira's. I love that
It's
thing,
great. And the new default settings in the latest versions of Cura work really, really well. You don't have to really change much. The only thing I really change is the temperature.
Mm-hmm. Temperature
Depending
based on the filament, right? I mean, that's
right.
I for like a week I thought I got into the whole tuning the settings and trying all,
Right.
you know what I mean? And it's just eventually you just roll
It's not
back to
worth
pretty
it.
much the defaults, right? And you're like,
Right.
yeah, maybe I can get an extra 30 seconds out of this print if I tune it up, but
Yeah.
is that really worth it? No. It's like let's roll it down.
It's not worth
And yeah, I think the only thing I ever changed too was quality was probably the only one. Maybe, if you want to get a smaller layer height depending on what you're doing. Otherwise, yeah, setting, the temperature setting. And also, all filament is not the same. Just remember.
Right. It is not. I've been printing in with PETG lately.
And all brands are not the same too, right? I mean, that's
right.
We went through hosts of different brands, and there was only one that really worked with our printer well. And
I'm using Hatchbox now.
I don't remember the name of the one, but it was recommended by Lulzbot, and it honestly was the only one that really worked.
That was worth a hoot.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, looks like we lost Dana.
Oh, we lost Dana. Maybe that's a sign that we need to wrap up.
That's a sign. We're 2 ovens in. So.
Oh man, awesome. All right, so I guess I'll do a quick outro for the YouTube channel. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to say to the world here?
No, I already snuck my YouTube channel in because I need more subscribers. So.
Bill's Workshop, right?
Bill's Workbench.
Bill's Workbench. I apologize. I'll put links.
There's a lot of Bill's Workshops. Otherwise, it was going to be called that.
Definitely check out Bill's Workbench. I've checked it out.
Yeah, subscribe. I need 1,000.
I forgot which one I recently watched. I think it was the slider or the pickup you turned into the tow truck.
Into the tow truck, yes.
Yeah, super cool.
That was my latest one.
Cool.
I printed that with the STL printer.
Oh, there we go.
Or the resin printer, yeah.
Awesome. Super cool channel. Definitely check it out. This blog post or this blog podcast will be available on December 1st at BIM Thoughts, which I'll put links to that. And then for my next live stream, because next week is Thanksgiving, and it's on Thursday, I think I might do it on Tuesday. So definitely subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. Head over to the revitkid.com and sign up for my mailing list. And right now, just put in your calendar. Tuesday at 12:30 will be the next live stream, and the topic is going to be a surprise. But it's just me, no guests, so you can just enjoy me.
Well, that might be fun.
No, I love having guests. I love having guests on. Then I don't have to prepare it. But the one thing, speaking of conferences and stuff, the one thing I will say, after eight months now of doing one live stream a week, essentially, it's nice having guests because every week, if it's just me, it's like, and you guys can relate, it's like preparing a session for a conference every single week. So the nice thing about it is the format allows people to ask questions, so that can help you fill content in. But it feels very much like that. So it's always nice to have guests in. Hey, she's back.
Just
Leave it to I'm turning into a pumpkin at 7:30 apparently. My internet.
Cinderella.
Pumpkin at 7:30.
Awesome.
That's right.
Well, I have a final question for you guys.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
What is the best thing that you guys have learned virtually this year? Whether through YouTube or one of the conferences or through a colleague.
This year.
Virtually in general.
Doing these kinds of things. Doing the Zoom chats, and that's probably the best thing I've learned.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have done this before
the way we work, right? I mean,
right.
You gotta roll with the punches. So with this now.
Carl.
Okay, Carl.
I'm trying to think. There's just been so much, and that's one of the things I guess that I've learned is that when we everyone went home, we didn't just twiddle our thumbs and start knitting. There's been content after content, webinars, BIM After Dark, the Your Desk University, There's been, the BIM Smith Coffee Club, so many great venues to get your content in whichever format you want, blog format, BIM Thoughts, or video. So there's always been information there, and the rise of the live stream. Again, part of that thing that we were talking about, you need to be there to get it. Yes, you can watch it after, but if you want to be part of that cool chat, you need to be there. So I think that, nothing keeps us down, I think, is what I learned.
Yeah. So initially I was trying to think back to all of the classes and Zoom meetings and these live streams that I've been doing and just looking for particular things. But I think you're right. I think, I think I didn't realize the need for this content now and how much there would be. I mean, I think everyone in March was kind of like, what the heck is going to happen? But I do think I learned that our community, even though it is a small community, right? I mean, we've all gone to the conferences. We all kind of know each other because of it. But at the same time, I think we realized that our community is actually bigger than we thought. I think is what I'm starting to realize, right? It's like it's so easy to in person to go to these conferences and 600 people, 700 people, and you're like that's the BIM circle, right? But then you start doing stuff like this and different times and different time zones and I think, and like you just mentioned, the whole 100,000 and 60% they're saying are AEC. It's like
right.
I think it's opened my eyes that maybe this whole BIM thing isn't such a niche of a niche anymore, right? Maybe it is getting much larger of as far as market share
or maybe it's always been that large.
Right.
And we just didn't realize it because when you're at work, you're there to work on your BIM stuff, but you have an expert there at work.
Right.
And so now that you're not at work and you're at home and you're doing all of this stuff, you're watching all of the other BIM experts and you're learning from them. So I'm excited to see when we all return to work what we all have learned.
It's true.
And how much better we all are. And now all us BIM experts need to brushing up a bit because it's like, oh wow, I didn't know you could do that either, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and now the non-technology people know how to use Teams and Zoom. So watch out, everybody.
Right.
Which has also been, I mean, personally, I've enjoyed seeing folks that would never in a million years do video calls, have so many meetings, and I think I'm hoping that it opens their mind and world to the idea of 9 to 5 butts in seat doesn't have to be the work environment that needs to, in order to continue being productive and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that that's
so for the final thought, what did you learn, Dana?
Oh, that's tough.
Well, you asked the question first. You should know an answer.
Like,
you're not supposed to ask me back.
I don't know. I would probably have to go with you, Bill. I mean, BIM 360. I mean, just like the way that we work now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the cloud pushing everything to what it is. I mean, I think that's really kind of revolutionize the way we work, right? I mean, I think everybody's day-to-day is just so drastically different that probably has to be it, right? I mean, just the day-to-day nonsense that we're all having to deal with.
Right.
But I mean, luckily, and I think this is one thing that I think our, like Jeffrey was saying, our community is kind of coming out of the woodworks, and we've had just such an amazing representation, whether it's Your Desk University or other types of groups or what have you, that have just really come together to put together learning material for free. I mean, thank goodness to Autodesk and to others that have really just taken the line to do all of those things to make sure that those learning members aren't lost.
And don't forget about Paul Aubin's stuff too on LinkedIn Learning.
Right.
I mean, that's great stuff too. And I can see a difference between those kinds of classes and the free classes, because the LinkedIn Learning stuff is more structured. They're practicing. They've got all the stuff. They're not flying by the seat of their pants. Not no disrespect to what you're doing there, Jeffrey. But you gotta experience. Gotta experience both. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. Well, thank you for having us.
All right. Thank you for coming on and having me.
Hey, we had a great time. Great time.
Awesome. I look forward to the episode. And we should do this again sometime for sure.
I think we should do it sooner than later.
Who knows what it's going to look like in 2 or 3 months, but let's see what the world looks like, and we'll have to talk about it again.
Well, Carl will look like a band member from ZZ Top.
Yeah, Dana will be in her new house finally, right?
Dana will be in a new house.
Talking about the Potomac River and all the awesome fish she's catching.
A different view. I've mixed it up a few times already, so I have to show you guys a different view.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you guys so much. YouTube, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Yes,
I'll see everyone next week.
Tubes.
And with that, I think we'll sign off. So I'll say bye to YouTube, and then we'll say bye to you guys. Bye, YouTube. See you later.